Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're talking Spare. And before you're like, oh my god, Jen, didn't we cover the whole thing? Yes, we did. Go back and watch those videos if you haven't seen them. Oof, a lot there. Anyway, I'm just like having PTSD tremors even talking about it. But you guys, I had such a good response to the So Much Cringe video I did on Meghan and the podcast, archetypes, awfulness, and the hilarious reviews I found about awful podcasts. So I thought, you know what? Let's circle back around, revisit Spare, and take a look at some of those reviews. I thought we could read them together and discuss amongst ourselves. As the rumor is, there's more books to come. I believe that was the deal. It's a multi-book deal. So we might see more out of this Ginger Whinger. So he's threatened more. He said he didn't even reveal everything in this book. I don't understand how he could write more. He must have more stories about his mom's face cream or something. Oh, God. More stories of how he was wronged and the things that he suffered through as growing up so privileged. Anyway, just ridiculousness. I've been through it. Again, if you want the details on my thoughts on the book, I put out a whole series of that, so take a look at that. But I thought, let's start with the critical reviews and kind of refresh on some of the problems of the book, and then we'll read just some average people's reviews on the book itself. So the main problems that were pointed out in the book is they point out it was hard to follow, had so many inconsistencies, inaccuracies, that's a nice way of saying lies, offers privileged military information, and is often tasteless. I would say it goes beyond tasteless. Again, I know you saw the other videos where I go into it, and even if you haven't, you've seen the videos talking about, he talks so much about his Todger. There was a word count done, and it's just crazy how many times he talks about his Todger and it's just everything. The frostbite of the Todger, the cream on the Todger, how his Todger was burning. He talked about William's Todger, just so much, so disgusting. He's gross. There's just nothing in his head, so he filled it with this drivel. Anyway, so those were some of the... They even called it chaotic. You can see it's messy and chaotic. So that was some of the critical reviews received. The main things pointed out is that there's so many factual errors that, again, it's their go-to move, right? Things that can easily be verified. People continue to find more and more of those. When you Google Spare reviews, you see, there's just a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say about this, including his dangerous lies, opening up about the military stuff, and again, sharing private details after screaming for privacy of conversations that he allegedly had with Charles and William. I don't believe a word in the book, so I even have trouble believing he had these actual conversations, but if it is true, he's sharing private information, even detailing like texts sent from supposedly or allegedly between Catherine and Meghan. And I wanted to show you this one. It's The Guardian called it Magical Thinking in Montecito. And the BBC says it's the weirdest book ever written by a royal. So let's take a look at some of these reviews. The first couple will be from Goodreads, and the last couple are pulled from Amazon. Okay. So Laura says, I can't abide people who think they're blameless. The whole book is all poor Harry. He doesn't blame himself for anything. He's been spoiled as a child and spoiled as an adult, moaning when Charles cut him off and wondering how they would manage, yet he still lives in a big house. I dare to say a mansion. Oh, poor, poor Harry. Steel Whisper writes, no way, no how. Why should anyone in their right mind fork over money to a milquetoast wimp who flipped his entire family the finger, including a dying grandfather and his ailing grandmother? Exactly, Steel Whisperer. I'm glad you brought that up, and I like your username. The way he treated the way they both treated them is just indefensible, and it's absolutely disgusting, and they're terrible people. Okay, you guys, this review made me laugh. It says, I purchased this book a few minutes after it was published. I wanted to finish reading it and write a review on the publishing day itself, but it took me around 2 months to finish reading it. After reading the initial pages, I understood what I had to expect from this book. The writing, accusations, and hypocrisy were at an extreme level that it became challenging for me to read it. That 2 months thing really, really made me laugh. I love it. I totally relate. If I hadn't been covering it for this channel, I couldn't have finished it. Okay, Just a Girl Fighting Censorship writes, file this one under, I'd rather squeeze lemon juice into my eyes for a couple hours. Yeah, if given the choice to have to read the damn thing again or the lemon juice, I'm picking the lemon juice. Okay, this one gave me a laugh. This is from Amy. It says, this book did the impossible. It made me like King Charles. Okay, Reagan Baker writes, these, quote, revealing texts that left Meghan sobbing on the floor. She doesn't know where else to cry, right? It's always got to be the floor. Are the tamest, dumbest lines ever to be published in all of history. I should publish my family stories. I would make way more millions of dollars. Exactly. It's just another example of them presenting one side of the story, and we're just supposed to buy it without questioning it. And if we do, we're all the ist words they like to throw around. It's nonsense. Okay, then Mulberry writes, cringeworthy. It's obvious that the psychedelics did him no good at all. Okay, and then we have Debbie, who writes, I didn't expect this to be as bad as it is. He appears to be less intelligent, less self-aware, and possibly more severely damaged than I originally thought. Plus, he contradicts several times the narrative that they've been pushing for so long. Poor Harry. They're going to be waiting a long, long time before they get any apologies. Possibly when hell freezes over. I didn't purchase this book because I won't contribute in any way to these two. We're all borrowing from a friend of a friend of a friend. Okay, then moving on to Amazon, we got Tiffany here writing, oh please, this is a long, boring, redundant, greatly untrue wine fest. He complains about the press and his family being mean to him and his wife. Yes, that sucks. Who doesn't have family that treat them poorly? Was he abused, left hungry and alone, uneducated and penniless? Was his father distant? Yes. Perhaps he should write a book about it and conveniently leave out that his father is also King of England. I like the title of this one so much. Spare me this spare. What a snooze fest, or wine fest rather. There's nothing new here at all. The entire book is Harry just moaning about how unfair everyone and everything is to him and later to Meghan. He speaks of his family with such venom and disdain, you'd think he was talking about strangers. The only one he doesn't eviscerate is the Queen, but still he intimates her lack of help to him. There's no surprise message here, just him complaining. The writing is plain dreadful, loaded with incomplete thoughts and snippets of stories that have no real cohesiveness. That was exactly my point too. No cohesiveness, and then he would interrupt himself. I do that too, but not while I'm writing, to contradict himself. He'd be like, it could have been Thursday. No, wait, it might have been Tuesday, that sort of thing. Ugh, that's my 2 cents on that. It was so crazy. I'm not trying to bash the ghostwriter here either. I don't know the ghostwriter. I don't care. I'm just saying I feel like Meghan and Harry had such heavy hands in this that the ghostwriter probably had to throw up his hands and be like, all right, it's your book, man. Whatever. Okay, this one's called Saved by the Ghostwriter. Had it not been for talented, and then he goes into the person's name, that this book would have been not in a recycle bin, but in a garbage bin. What a one-sided book of complaints and jealousy. When I first heard that this book was worse than a tabloid, I bought it only to check this for myself, as I was not sure that all the reviews were right. To think someone who had so much privilege and royal upbringing to trash the family that gave him all of this just because he was not firstborn. Jealousy has no cure. And Meghan only festered it for financial gains. I like that sentence very much. There were parts of the book that I felt like was Meghan's words and voice and not Harry's. Ding, ding, ding. Once again, it's only the ghostwriter and the YouTube reviewers who need I like that. I didn't even know she was going to say that. A compliment. And I should have listened to YouTube first rather than go through 400 odd pages of the constant whining. Check Tom Bower's book for facts rather than this one for fiction. This should have been classified as fiction, not a memoir. Guys, I'm going to leave this one here. There's about a billion more reviews just like that, talking about how much it is just a wine fest and so full of himself and out of touch. And, well, if you want to hear more reviews like that, be sure to go back and listen to me actually reading through Spare. Whew, that was rough. That brings back like a dark period in my life. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was thinking I would dive into the Netflix show and maybe that Live to Lead thing that they were involved in. But if you have other things you want me to pull reviews on, please leave it in the comments. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff. They put out so much crap. But anyway, thank you so much for being here and supporting. Definitely check out merch. We got Make It Make Sense and In a World Full of Meghan's Be a Catherine. And check out Patreon. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where you can become an executive producer and get your shout out. Speaking of which, I'm going to shout out my executive producers now. So huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to Paige. Huge thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you to Diana. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you to Georgia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Robbins Landing. Thank you to Helen. Thank you to Mara. Thank you, Ashley C. Thank you to Molly. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sand Squid. Thank you to Rach. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Domby. Thank you, Android P. Thank you to Sheena. Thank you, Aaron M. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Spectrum Mom. Thank you, Vanessa B. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mimi Heathcote. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you to Bree. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to Elvis Rose here on YouTube. Thank you to Lori. Thank you, Tim B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you to Kathy Carruthers. Well, I so appreciate you all. Thank you if you are on the Patreon. Thank you if you're an executive producer. And hey, if you're not, definitely check it out. We have a lot of fun over there. Guys, I hope you have the best day, and I will talk to you again soon. Can't wait to bring you another video like this. Take care. Bye-bye.